The Sixers forced a Game 7 back in Philly. Tim Legler with us here on SportsCenter. Tim, what were the Sixers able to do in this game, especially down the stretch, that they couldn't do in Games 4 and 5?
Well, look, Trae Young's had a historic start to his playoff career, scoring, playmaking. And in the fourth quarter, basically, of the previous game and in the first half of this game, he's living in the paint, scoring, free throws, lobs. A little bit different at the end of this game. The Sixers made the adjustment. Now, part of it was the way Atlanta sets this up. Now, what they've been running this entire series is this high ball screen, Trae Young getting downhill, and then you have Clint Capella typically running to the rim. Very difficult for the Sixers to defend this, particularly when Joel Embiid is this far out on the floor. Now, in this particular case, Atlanta actually does them a favor. Trae Young comes off, but Clint Capella never resets this screen. So instead, he just stays here in the perimeter, and he's locked up with Embiid. Now, this is still a great recovery by Joel Embiid. Young beats Curry off the dribble, and you can see the Sixers on the back line. You've got to stay connected to the shooter. So where is the help going to come from? Take a look at the ground Joel Embiid covers to get to the rim. So their collective ability to not give up the lob, not foul him, rim protection, you play him differently at the end of the game. Now, this was critical to me. How are you going to close the game offensively? You take a look at the score here. We got a 1-point game, a minute 50. This is the game. You come out of a timeout, what are you going to run? Now, take a look at this screen that they're trying to set up. There's a ball screen right here coming for Joel Embiid to roll him into the post. Now, what you're hoping, if you're Clint Capella, you get some help from Herter. Give me a bump or something to slow him up so I can get down there and play him. The problem with that is he is guarding Curry. So Herter now is terrified. So he's going to try to shoot over the top. As a result, Capella gets no bump. And now take a look where Embiid catches it. Capella's tied up in his screen. When Embiid turns, he can't even believe how much space he has. He misses the layup, but he smartly throws it off the glass, gets the putback. To me, that was the biggest possession of the game. If you go back to Game 5, Mike, at the end of that game, in the last 3 minutes, so much indecisiveness on the part of Philadelphia. What are we going to do here to close this game out? I've never understood it because that's your best option. But you run a set to get him something deep. That's what they did, so he won't drift out, take a jump shot. They went to their bread and butter player, and they gave him something to work with out of a timeout. I thought that was the biggest possession of the game. It gave him a 3-point lead. They just closed it out better, this one on the road. Let's see if they can do the same thing in Philadelphia on Sunday.
Well, speaking of Game 7s, we've got one Saturday night in Brooklyn, Nets and Bucks. Kyrie Irving, according to Steve Nash, will not be available for this game. What impact will that have on this elimination game?
It's huge. So this, to me, comes down to one very simple thing. Are we going to get a different James Harden than we saw the last 2 games? Because, look, he's gutting it out. You've got to give him props for that. Bottom line is, though, it's all step-back threes and a couple of floaters. That's not the guy that we saw over the last 8 to 10 years. If he can get to the line and give them some supplemental scoring to take some of the pressure off Kevin Durant, I think the Nets have a chance to win. If not, the Bucks are a better team. They're a more complete team right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo, you know he's going to put up numbers. Chris Middleton is operating right now with comfort. And I love the fact that Jrue Holiday took 21 shots in the last game. He carried himself like a star. Didn't shoot great, but he put enough pressure on them. So you've got 3 different guys to answer the bell. For Brooklyn, it's basically Kevin Durant. And if James Harden is that limited again, where will it come from? You would need something special out of a Joe Harris or a Jeff Green or a Blake Griffin. Those 3 guys together, maybe they got to make 15 threes to help Kevin Durant out. I'm just waiting to see what James Harden looks like. Does he have more in the tank for a Game 7 just to give them a little bit more of a threat offensively to help Kevin Durant out?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.